Hello, I'm Lucinda from Acuity Training. I'm going to show you how to use mail merge in Word 2007 and 2010. I've actually got a letter that I've just set up. Let's open it up. So here's my letter that I've already typed about someone being invited to an interview. So I need a different name of the person, the time of their interview, the date and the location of their interview. And each person is going to have a different time, date and location. This is what we would use mail merge for as an example. You don't have to type the letter first. I just think this makes the whole process much simpler. So, where is mail merge in 2007 and 2010? It actually has its own ribbon now, and the ribbon is called Mailings just here. If we click on that, we are now looking at the options we need for mail merge. If you're very new to mail merge, the best thing to do is to use this option here in the Start Mail Merge group. And there's a button called Start Mail Merge. There is actually a mail merge wizard that will talk you through the process step by step, and this is what we're going to use now. Step by step mail merge wizard. We now have the panel for mail merge showing on the right, and it asks us what type of document we're working on, and we're going to say a letter. Click Next to continue, and you can see the link next is at the bottom. Select the starting document. At this point, we're going to be using the current document shown here on the screen. You could start from a different template if you have one already, and you can start from an existing document that you could then open up. We're going to use the current document. We can now move to the next stage, which is about selecting the recipients for the letter. We could use an existing list of recipients that we've done in the past. We can select recipients from Outlook contacts. We can also type a new list, which is what we're going to do. And we're going to click on Create to create the new list now. This is actually a little Microsoft Access database that you're now creating, and we're going to fill in some data. So the title of the person, the first name of the person, and the last name. If you suddenly think you don't need some of these, as they're called, fields coming across here, there's quite a few of them, as you can see, and we've got state and we've got zip code, and you may not be sending within the US. So let's just find out before we continue how to actually customize this address list. And we would click on Customize Columns. And in here we can add and remove the columns that we don't need. Let's say that we don't need company name. Let's delete that and say yes. State, let's delete that and say yes. Zip code, delete, yes. Country or region, we're not going to send outside of the UK, let's delete that. And all the phone numbers, we're not going to use those either, or the email address. What we do probably need for the UK is a county field. So we're going to add a field called county. And as you can see, it sits under city. I don't have to move that with my moving up and down arrows. We also need an interview time field. So I'm going to add another field called int_time. We can't leave spaces in a field. I'm going to add another field, int date for interview date, and another one for location. I'm just going to call that location. And that I'm happy with. I don't need to move any of the fields around. I think that's a logical sequence, and I'm going to click on OK. And suddenly, if we have a look now, our fields have changed. Miss Lucinda Griffith, address 1, The Cottage, and that's in Alton, so city isn't appropriate. Hampshire, we're not going to worry about postcodes today. Interview time is going to be 09:30. Interview date is going to be the 15th of November 2013. Location, Guild Hall, London, just as an idea. And then we move on to the second record. By pressing tab, this moved us on to the second record. Mr. Andy Thomas, the house, Farnborough, no need for city, and let's say Farnborough's in Surrey. Interview time is going to be 12 noon. The date is going to be the 17th of November 2013, and the location is at Acuity Head Office in Guildford. We'll do one more so we can see. Miss Elizabeth Drake, the flat in London, county is London, interview time 1300, interview date the 18th of November 2013, location is going to be in Bracknell, head office which is in Bracknell. Okay, once we've completed our source data, which is what this is, we click on OK, and we're asked to save the source data. I'm going to call the source data interview data, and it's going to be saved, look, in my data sources, and I'm going to click on save, and that's my data saved. And we can actually see the data now coming up in the mail merge recipients box with ticks showing that it's active. If we need to go back into this data source to amend it, to edit it, we would click on data source and we would click on edit to bring us back in, and we're in the same place now as we were before. Click on OK. Do you want to update? There isn't any update, so we can say no, and there's our data, and we can click on OK. We can now move to the next step. Next, write your letter. We now need to bring in some what we call mail merge fields into our letter to join the data source that we've just created and our letter together. And if we come down to more items, we can actually see the merge fields that are in here that we can use. For example, we could insert a title merge field to bring in the title for somebody. We can bring in first name, last name, like so. If we close the box down, we could put in spaces if we need to in between them. Clicking at the end, pressing return, I'm now going to bring in from more items, the address that we now want to bring in. Address line 1, insert, close. I'm going to come down to the next line, more items, address line 2, insert, close. Press return, more items. We might have used city in some of our records, so I'm going to bring in city just in case. If we haven't, Word will amend that. County, insert and close. Dear, space, more items. Dear who? I'm going to say dear first name, for example. Dear Lucinda, dear Andy, close. The time of the interview. I'm going to put a nice little tab in, a couple of tabs actually, so it lines up nicely down the letter. More items, interview time, insert, close. The date, a couple of tabs to line it up nicely. More items, interview date, insert and close. Location, a couple of tabs. Oops. More items, location, insert and close. This letter now has mail merge fields on it, which links it to the data source that we've just typed. Let's have a look. Let's actually preview the letters. Next step, preview your letters. Give it a click. We can now see the data source data coming through into the letter itself. Here's Lucinda's data, her address, Dear Lucinda, the time, date and location of the interview. If we have a look in the Mail Merge panel, this is recipient 1. If we click to the arrow going right, this moves us to the next recipient. Andy's data, Dear Andy, time, date and location. Recipient 3. Data for Elizabeth Drake, Dear Elizabeth, time, date and location. And we can come back to recipient 1 again if we need to. We can exclude any recipients at this point, and we can edit the recipient list at this point as well. Let's complete the merge. Next, complete the merge. Remember, this is only previewing the merge currently. The mail merge can now be printed directly to a printer, or we can edit and look at each individual letter. Let's do that. We can merge all records, just the current record for Lucinda, or from particular record numbers to particular record number. We're going to merge all records. Click on OK. You now have letters 1 at the top of your title bar. This is telling you that you now have created a mail merge. There's Lucinda's letter. If we scroll through, we should see Andy's letter. If we scroll down, we should then see Elizabeth's letter. And those are the 3 letters that have been merged. That is how you use Mail Merge in Word 2007 and Word 2010. Thanks for listening.